Have you ever felt ashamed for not being able to organize your finances, even after praying and doing your best? Have you ever carried guilt for not being able to provide as you'd like, even though you're faithful to God? If you're a father, leader, entrepreneur, or professional who loves God, but feels suffocated by debt, know that Proverbs has practical answers for you. This book is not just a manual of faith. It's a strategic wisdom guide straight from heaven to take you out of the cycle of disorder and lead you to financial peace. Today, you'll discover how to apply Proverbs chapter 21, verse 5. The plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance, but everyone who is hasty comes surely to poverty. And create your financial plan in 3 clear steps: diagnosis, realistic goals, and discipline. It's not a magic formula. It's eternal wisdom in action. Stay with me until the end and you'll understand how to get out of debt with faith, clarity, and direction, restoring your dignity and peace. Have you ever felt ashamed for being in debt even though you're faithful to God? Have you ever thought that perhaps your financial mess is a failure of faith? If that silent guilt has been following you, today you're going to be freed from it. The truth is, many spiritually mature men and women, pastors, intercessors, leaders, and fathers, face financial difficulties not because they're far from God, but because they haven't been taught to apply biblical wisdom in everyday decisions. Financial disorder is not a spiritual sentence. It's a warning, something that needs direction, structure, and practical wisdom. And Proverbs is exactly that, a map that turns faith into solid decisions. There is no verse that says being a believer is synonymous with financial chaos, but Proverbs is full of principles that show the opposite, that wisdom brings provision and prudence avoids ruin. In Proverbs chapter 27, verse 23, the word guides us. Know well the condition of your flocks and pay attention to your herds. This verse is not just for pastors, but for all who manage. God expects us to take good care of what He's entrusted to us, even when it's little. It's not about how much you earn, but about how you organize. The first step to getting out of financial confusion is to understand that it's not a matter of weak spirituality, but wisdom yet to be applied. And wisdom, the Bible assures, is available to all who ask. Proverbs chapter 21, verse 5 says, "The plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance, but everyone who is hasty comes surely to poverty." In this passage is not just advice for entrepreneurs or managers. It's a divine call to every child of God who desires to break free from the cycle of scarcity and build a future of peace. And the first step toward this is diagnosis. In other words, facing the truth with honesty and courage. You can't change what you still refuse to see. You can't make well-elaborated plans if you don't know where you stand. Now it's time to stop and answer before God. How much exactly do you owe? To whom? What are the most urgent debts? What are you neglecting to pay every month? What habits brought you here? Impulse spending, misguided generosity. Silencing these questions only prolongs the pain. Proverbs chapter 18, verse 13 says, "He who answers before listening, that is his folly and shame." In other words, those who try to solve things without understanding only make things worse. And that's why diagnosis is sacred. It's your moment to hear the truth before reacting in despair. Take a notebook, a spreadsheet, or even your phone's notes app and write everything down. What comes in, what goes out, what is lacking. Do a complete inventory of your financial life. This simple act is spiritual because God honors those who walk in the light. Clarity is the first miracle. When you see everything as it really is, you begin to have direction for where you can go. Financial freedom begins with truth, and truth, when faced with faith, does not condemn you. It frees you. After facing the truth with courage, it's time to take the second step, setting realistic goals. And here's one of the most powerful secrets of the book of Proverbs. God is not impressed with grand promises, but with consistent steps. In Proverbs chapter 13, verse 11, it says, "Dishonest money dwindles away, but he who gathers money little by little makes it grow. And this also applies to financial rebuilding. It's not about how much you promise to pay, but about what you can really sustain month after month. Faith is not about taking a blind leap. It's about walking steadily, even if slowly. How many times have you created an impossible plan just to feel good in the moment, only to get frustrated right afterward? The enemy uses this trap. He excites you to set goals outside of your reality, and then accuses you for not meeting them. But today you're going to choose differently. Write down monthly goals that fit within your budget and pace. It might be paying off one debt at a time, reducing a specific expense, setting aside a small amount for emergencies. What matters is that it's sustainable. Proverbs chapter 24, verse 27 advises, "Prepare your work outside, get everything ready for yourself in the field, and after that, build your house." In other words, start by organizing what's out of order before trying to build something new. God honors processes, not hurry. Setting realistic goals is an act of wisdom and humility. Don't compare yourself to anyone. Don't carry guilt for not being able to do more right now. Remember, God's plan is fulfilled step by step. When you honor the little, He takes care of the growth. A sustainable vision is what will keep you steady until the harvest. Now that you've made the financial diagnosis and set realistic goals, the third step is discipline. Proverbs chapter 25, verse 28 says, "Like a city whose walls are broken through is a person who lacks self-control." This passage teaches us that discipline is a true fortress that protects us against temptation, impulses, and disorder. Without it, our financial life becomes vulnerable, like a city without walls, exposed to any danger. Discipline is not a burden, but a spiritual tool that brings freedom. Cutting impulsive spending, reorganizing habits, and staying committed to your goals are actions that, over time, will transform your financial and emotional life. The good news is that, with small daily actions, you can create a financial discipline routine that really works. Here are some simple yet powerful strategies to maintain discipline. Start by reviewing your spending weekly. Each week, take a moment to evaluate where the money went. Ask yourself, what was necessary and what was unnecessary? Also, pray before each financial decision. This not only aligns you with God's direction, but also helps you discern between what is good and what is impulsive. And finally, have an accountability partner, someone you trust, who helps you stay focused and accountable. Discipline doesn't happen by chance, but through consistent choices. It is the link between your dreams and the reality you want to live. With each step taken with discipline, you move closer to financial stability and freedom. Now, let's make everything we've discussed more concrete and applicable to your daily life. The wisdom of Proverbs is not just theory, but a transformative practice for life. How can we apply this to our daily lives? Let me share 3 inspiring examples. First, imagine a father who, after facing the harsh reality of his finances, applied the concept of financial wisdom from Proverbs. He took his family budget, made a diagnosis, and realized he was overspending on unnecessary things. He applied the discipline of reviewing his expenses and, with that, reorganized his household, cutting excess spending, prioritizing what was essential, and getting his debts in order. This wasn't easy, but with God's wisdom, he saw financial peace drawing near. Another example is a small business owner who lived on an overdraft. Based on the lessons from Proverbs, he set clear and practical monthly goals, cut impulsive spending, and created discipline in cash flow management. Today, he is out of the red and has a healthier cash flow, proving that God honors processes, not haste. Finally, a ministry leader who, for years, struggled with guilt over being in debt, but by applying the wisdom from Proverbs, she overcame the guilt and restored her financial peace. With faith and applied wisdom, she regained control over her financial life and now lives with balance. These examples show the difference between acting impulsively and acting with wisdom. The spiritual wisdom applied results in real transformation. We have reached the end, but remember, this is just the beginning of the transformation. God did not call you to live suffocated by debt or trapped in financial disorganization. You are a child of God, and He has a plan for your life in all areas, including your financial life. There is a way back, a way of wisdom, faith, and action. Let's recap the 3 essential steps we discussed today. First, the diagnosis, facing financial reality honestly. Second, realistic goals, setting clear and achievable objectives. And third, discipline, the consistency that turns dreams into reality. These steps are not just financial practices. They are also acts of faith, of trust in God and in His plan for your life. I want to pray for you now that God would give you wisdom, strength, and courage to apply what you've learned. Lord, may each person watching this video experience the financial transformation that comes from your Spirit. May the wisdom of Proverbs guide every step and bring prosperity and peace. Now, I invite you to a commitment of action. Throughout this week, apply Proverbs 21, verse 5. The plans of the diligent lead to profit. Also, share this video with someone who needs this message of hope. And lastly, write in the comments, I choose to apply Proverbs in my financial life. Let's walk together on this journey of transformation. God bless you.